How you doing? My name's Dave, and this is another episode of my Kerbal Space Program career mode playthrough. The last two episodes, uh, I had a lot of failures. Had a rover. First rover didn't work quite how I wanted to, and the second rover worked pretty good, but I flipped it. So that one, I might return to that one. Maybe figure a way to launch it and land it on the moon or Minmus. I also tried my hand at making a plane with the limited parts I have. I have not unlocked very many of the plane parts. So I was able to get in the air, but it had a design problem, and I have a lot of difficulty landing and controlling the aircraft. So I think I'm going to stick to rockets for a little bit longer. I can build a rocket to go back to the moon. Maybe I should build a rocket that has a rover to rove around on the moon. I think that should be my next goal. As soon as I unlock this tier, and I only need, what is it, 160, so 82 more science. If I can get 82 science, I can unlock the hitchhiker container, which works good for space stations, and a docking port. So I can get this tier unlocked, launch my space station components, dock them together, and have a working space station. So let's go to the VAB, and I'll try to build a rocket, small lander, and a rocket with a rover attached. Hope you enjoy this sequence, and I'll see you when I return. Alright, so we're back. I have the rocket put together. It probably needs more struts. So I have the landing gear deployed. So let's bring that back in. And hopefully we can get this to launch. So throttle up, turn on my SAS, and launch. Oh, it's just got enough thrust. We've cleared the launch clamps, and it's slow going. Oh, it might just be too heavy for this rocket. Bob's looking a little concerned, but he's alright. He knows I got his back. So I still like how the clouds just keep going. I hope they put those in the game soon, although this mod, they might just use this mod and put it in the game. At one point I'll put the city lights in, and when I get a space station up, and then we can look at that. I am starting to slowly accelerate. We're going to drop some weight here. I don't know if I've got enough oomph to keep us going though, and I didn't put in an abort sequence. Probably should plan on doing that pretty soon. We lost 2 engines thrust. We lost all that weight. We're still accelerating. We're losing some of our acceleration. We're starting to drift a little bit. But we're still going slowly. I might have to skip past the 10,000 meter gravity turn and do it a little bit later. So, see what, he's just looking out the window, hoping that we make it to space. So, I probably should have added some solid rocket boosters at the beginning. If this launch fails, then I think that's what I'll do. But so far, so good. We're only about the mid-tier large parts. There's some even more powerful large engines that I like to use. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is gonna make it. So it's really trying though. And we're starting to get some acceleration now. So launching in the morning. Right there is the airfield where we lost Jeb. Second stage. I put some reaction wheels up here just to give me some control turning it, which I'll probably lose before I need to turn it. So still climbing. We have our lander with our rover untested, and we'll just have to see how it does. Yeah, our launch stage is almost done. These ones will hang on for quite a bit longer, and I'm not into these tanks yet for this last one. So drifting a little bit more. I think the rotation might be catching up with us. So hopefully we can start to accelerate as we punch through the lower atmosphere. And once we get a good speed going, then I'll attempt a gravity turn. So it doesn't look good for Bob here as far as getting to the moon though. We might just get in orbit, but this is probably a pretty heavy lander and could have used a little bit more oomph off the pad. So we're starting to accelerate now in the thinner part of the atmosphere, and I'm just gonna kind of keep going up. I might do just a little bit of a gravity turn just so we're getting pointed kind of in the right direction and start getting some horizontal acceleration. Right there should be good. I don't want to go too far with this rocket. It's really struggling. So, and we'll probably, yeah, I might lose it. Once I lose these 2 boosters here, then I might lose it. You can see we're starting to kick over horizontal. As long as we don't dip too far below that, off our 45, should be okay. I have this as our moon stage. As I said, over-engineered, but when you over-engineer, you take a lot of extra fuel and you need more thrust to lift that fuel. So we'll drop those 2. We're starting to lose our acceleration, but we're almost out of into the thinnest part of the atmosphere. Still full throttle. See the stars start to come out as we enter that lower atmosphere. Go to my map view, and our profile actually looks pretty good. We're still climbing. So it's dipping down a little bit. We're not quite horizontal yet. There's Jeb's Canyon on the moon, a monument to Jeb. And we're still losing some acceleration. We're still climbing, slowly climbing. So I'm going to turn just a little bit more. Hopefully that doesn't dip too far down. See if we can get some more horizontal speed going. But we still need to climb and keep climbing until this is at least 70,000 meters above Kerbin. That would make sure that we're out of the atmosphere and we can try and do an orbital maneuver. 20 seconds until I reach my apoapsis. It's kind of holding steady, so we're climbing at about the same rate that we're approaching. So still burning. You can see we're kind of drifting sideways. The rocket's struggling, doing all it can to keep us going up. We still got about 15,000 meters to go before we can rotate over for our orbital burn. So this is a real struggle to try and get this. We're still holding steady, so we're climbing now at a greater rate. Our acceleration's going up. So how are we doing on fuel? We're about halfway, about 2/3 through. Still 10,000 meters to go, and we're still accelerating. So far, so good. So Bob looks a little bit concerned. He has a parachute. He should be fine. There we go. Now we're starting to really get some speed going. I'm going to see if I can bring this up probably to 80,000 meters and see if we can't get into an orbit. Once we get into an orbit, then we should be good for our moon insertion burn. So I'm going to start to roll over just a little bit and use some of this thrust to get the throttle going. I still want to keep climbing though. So we got about half the speed that we need. We're almost done with this burn. Bob looks a little bit happier. And then we're going to go, oh, it's the Poodle engine. I hope it's got enough thrust to really get us. I might have to change my profile a bit to make sure we're still climbing. Because this has significantly less thrust than the skipper engine that we just lost. So if we can keep our speed up, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like we're going to get an orbit out of this one. I could activate these engines. They'll use up the fuel from here, but they've helped us with our thrust. There we go. Emergency maneuvers. So we're still keeping our altitude. We need to get this to 2300, and then we'll be in a stable orbit. So these little rockets I use for the lander have just a little bit of thrust, but they're pretty fuel efficient. So hopefully they're not burning anything up on the rocket. And then see if we can fix that. Okay, we're at 92. So now I'm going to put all that power into the direction I'm going. I got a whole minute I can go. We'll level off at about 95. And I think we're going to get an orbit out of this one. And hopefully we'll have enough fuel that I can refuel these and still use our lander for the moon. So here we go. Orbit, please. Point down just a little bit so we don't get too wonky. There we go. We have an orbit. And 87, 94. We're in a stable orbit. Awesome. So there we go. Looks like a little space station kind of now, doesn't it? So we got a stable orbit, and our next burn is going to be our Kerbal escape to a moon capture. So thanks for watching, and give a like or a comment or a question, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.